Time for the business then. We're going to start by getting some Christmas cheer from the markets, aren't we, William?
That's right, yeah, certainly over from the US, the good news has come and given the markets a bit of a lift. Let's take a look at how things closed in New York yesterday in the previous session. The good news was that new claims for unemployment benefit are at their lowest in the Americas since 2008, according to figures released on Thursday. So that gave things a bit of a boost there, as you can see. Also, the banking stocks generally have been boosted this week by that massive injection of liquidity from the European Central Bank. They said they're going to open up their checkbook, basically give very cheap loans to any bank that needs it. So that's been good news for them. Let's take a look at how things have been trading over in Asia in recent minutes as well. That is telling a similar story. Exporters in particular are being helped by that US optimism.
Yeah, and while that tax compromise is being seen as a victory for Barack Obama, he didn't get it all his own way. As part of the deal, he's being forced to make a tough decision in which he'll have to weigh environmental concerns against economic benefits. Shona Bhattacharya explains.
It was meant to help persuade Republicans to extend the popular payroll tax break in time for the holiday season. Now the deal has gone through, requiring President Barack Obama to make a decision concerning the Keystone XL pipeline in the next 60 days. The pipeline would expand an existing route, carrying crude oil from Canada's tar sands to refineries in Texas. For Republicans, it's a major victory.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, this project would create tens of thousands of jobs in our country, and I hope the president will approve this pipeline to put those Americans to work.
Supporters put job creation figures at 20,000, a breath of fresh air during a time of high unemployment. Energy company TransCanada is behind the $7 billion pipeline. U.S. taxpayers wouldn't pay a dime. Republicans say Keystone XL would be the most advanced pipeline in the world and would reduce the U.S.'s dependence on the Middle East. It would span close to 2,700 kilometers and feed around 700,000 oil barrels a day. But to get the green light, Keystone XL will have to clear major hurdles. Environmentalists say potential oil spills could ruin one of the world's biggest underground sources of drinking water, and extracting the oil would lead to global warming. Obama hoped to push back the decision until after the 2012 election. Now he must choose between pleasing left-wing voters and potentially creating thousands of jobs.
Let's move back here to France, where the future of the mobile phone industry is being decided.
Yeah, what we're talking about here is the next generation of super-fast mobile broadband. Now, at the moment, you get around 2 megabits per second with 3G phones. We're talking about 4G phones. They're going to be at around 60 to 100 even megabits per second. So it's several orders of magnitude, really. A lot faster is what you need to take from that.
Yeah.
So there have been 2 rounds of auctions for the new available spectrum for the mobile phone companies to broadcast to use for this 4G network. The first round had 4 big players. They were the main big players in France: SFR, Orange, Bouygues Telecom, and Free Mobile. They're a new player. They were hoping to shake up the market. They still are hoping to shake up the market by becoming a new player. They've already got TV access and fixed line phones. So there was this second round, which was much bigger for the sort of sweet spot, it was called, of frequency. However, you've got the big players there, but Free didn't do so well there. They said it was just too expensive and that it was overpriced for this 4G spectrum. They say it's not going to affect their plans too badly, but perhaps it does mean that we won't be seeing such a big shake-up from this new company being thrown into the mix in France.
And you've got another mobile story. This one's about BlackBerry this time. A takeover target.
Well, it's surprising, isn't it? Because only, the last year or two, BlackBerry was the talk of the town, was the toast of IT managers everywhere, giving them out companies. Big companies, of course, rely on the corporate email systems. But yes, shares spiked yesterday after the Wall Street Journal reported that Microsoft and Nokia were considering a takeover of BlackBerry, and also separate reports citing Amazon as a potential buyer for the troubled company. Of course, at the moment, they've had to put off the release of a new operating system until late next year, and in the meantime, sales are expected to drop this holiday season, which is bad news. And they've always risen in the past. Basically, in the holiday season, they're going to go down this quarter, the company estimates.
Still a lot of BlackBerry users out there, aren't there, though? And a lot of them might be getting a bit of peace and quiet this Christmas.
Yeah, this is quite a nice story. Anyone out there who uses a BlackBerry and is sort of plagued by it, especially by work emails, might like this. Because at Volkswagen in Germany, the Works Council, which is basically union representatives, have got the company to agree to stop sending emails to workers at more than half an hour after their shift finishes. So when you get back home, you put your feet up, you don't want the BlackBerry buzzing and bleeping and flashing. So they've agreed to only give them half an hour of leeway so you can say you forgot your keys, but that's about it. It won't affect senior managers, but it could be something that spreads.
I wonder if it'll apply to phone calls as well. That would really cause chaos upstairs in the planning department. All right, well, with many families choosing to spend time abroad at this time of year, Europe's tourism industry is hoping it might get a helping hand from the currency markets. The euro, of course, has dropped off against the dollar in recent months, meaning American tourists might have a little bit more cash to splash this Christmas.
Christmas is coming and the goose might be getting fat, but here in Europe times are lean, except if you're earning your wage in dollars. Laura Callahan's an American student living in Rome. Thanks to a weak euro, she knows her savings will go further.
I'm here in Europe for a long time, so that does make me happy because it'll be cheaper. It'll be good for me.
A trip to Europe is also a bargain for tourists, whose spending will boost troubled economies.
For tourists, it's very good, of course, because more Americans will come here, they will spend more money here.
European leaders are still scratching their heads over the debt crisis, and their indecision has sent the euro sliding. In mid-December, it hit an 11-month low against the dollar, with markets braced for a mass Eurozone downgrade. That makes Europe more attractive to US holidaymakers, but renders American exports less competitive. Analysts warn it's the long-term picture that counts.
The euro is still strong. Historically speaking, it's still in a stronger range relative to the dollar. It's not as strong as it was a couple years ago, certainly. So I think you're probably not going to see travel plans get moved that quickly around daily currency fluctuations.
For those stateside planning to fly over, beware, jet fuel's priced in dollars and climbing sharply. But once you're here, there are savings to be made. Hotels and restaurants have slashed prices by as much as 20% this year.
And finally for you, the cost of Christmas dinner. It's shot up, I'm afraid, in the UK at least.
According to the Office of National Statistics, that is, they keep their eye on a basket of goods for inflation purposes. Apparently, the elements that make up a Christmas dinner are up 7.5%. That's more than inflation. So red wine up 14%, coffee up 21%, but turkey is down apparently. So that's the main thing, isn't it? So,
but we don't care though, because we're here in France.
But it's not all good news here either, unfortunately. Sorry,
okay.
Stuart, but oysters are crucial in France and to a Christmas celebration, and they've gone up by 15% this year, and that's after rising by 25% last year because of a disease which is affecting oyster beds around the coasts of France and killing off a lot of the oysters, tragically.
All right, I'll leave the oysters to you. Thanks a lot, Will. A lot more business then coming up in just over an hour's time. Lorna's got latest headlines next.
How does the world's #1 in women's tennis treat herself between games and continents? She flies Turkish Airlines.
Game, set, and match, Wozniacki.
We are Turkish Airlines. We are global.